Every day, tens of thousands of people continue to play Red Dead Redemption 2, and modifications play a significant role in maintaining those numbers. Despite Rockstar Games having a reputation for being less than friendly toward modding, the community continues to thrive. The game receives new mods daily, and their number remains on par with massive RPG projects. In this video, we're going to look at mods that are sure to catch your interest. In fact, even if you're a newcomer planning your very first playthrough, you can still safely try this out. We'll be looking at improvements to gunfights, a more immersive and alive world, better visuals and atmosphere, and of course a few quality of life improvements. These mods don't completely change what Red Dead Redemption 2 is, they simply make it better. If you're interested in mods that have a more drastic impact on the game, let me know in the comments, so I can see if there's interest for a future video. Without further ado, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos, hit that like button and let's get straight into the mods. This might surprise you, but Red Dead Redemption's gameplay heavily relies on shootings. I know some of you hunt beavers for 50 hours, but eventually you'll face O'Driscolls or other gangs. And to make gunfights more captivating and immersive, we'll use Pet Damage Overhaul Reloaded. This is a continuation of the original mod, which hopefully will be preserved and upgraded in the future. One of the main features that the mod introduces is dying stages. NPCs no longer die instantly, unless you hit a headshot. Now they can receive different severities of wounds. Badly wounded NPCs become less accurate and in some cases can try to flee the fight. Those NPCs can have a bleed out, which sends them to a critically wounded state. Bleeding becomes more intense. Sometimes they will try to escape with a bullet hole in their body, splashing the blood and leaving a trail behind them. But in this state, no one is coming out alive. Many will collapse and reach the near-death state, in which they will slowly bleed out on the ground. Some will lie peacefully and some will twitch or scream in agony. But if you want to toy with someone, you can shoot them in the leg, and they will stumble with every few steps. If you shoot the arm, you can disarm them, resulting in different outcomes. Brave NPCs will attack you with a knife or with their bare hands, while more fearful folks will try to surrender or just run for the hills. Everything is based on chance, and you will not see any script patterns. Of course, this mod has more to offer, but we don't have much time to cover everything. So feel free to check the mod page yourself. You'll find all the links from this and other mods from this video in one place. Just make sure to pick at the video description. Even though spontaneous acts of violence are a main attraction in the Wild West, I think we should bring some order into this place by making violence more polite. We can achieve this goal by using the Duels mod. In the first Red Dead Redemption, dueling is a common practice, but in the second RDR it feels like it doesn't exist. Thanks to the mod, we can participate in duels whenever we want. If the NPC is carrying a gun, you can challenge them and test your skills. But if you're not ready to give that respect by dueling someone and just want to punish the bastard, then I have a great mod to offer. Don't know about you, but I'm tired of doing the same type of execution. You tie the guy up, carry him to the swamps and drop him in front of the alligator. Thanks to the Trough Drowning mod, we have the ability to drown anyone in those animal bunks. It works great with the Drag NPCs mod that I showed in one of my previous videos. Well, maybe not that great, but they do the job pretty well.
Hardly touched.
Okay, looking at all the madness that happens to NPCs makes me feel sorry for them. I think we need some justice for these folks. I think we need to give them the ability that Arthur has. And I'm talking about healing. You see, Arthur is no greater than any ordinary criminal. So why is it that he's the only one who can drink some healing potions? I don't remember him graduating from any witcher schools. So from now on, NPCs can heal themselves after dropping to a certain health threshold. We can configure the mod to our likings. We can set the health threshold, healing cooldown, whether they have to seek cover before healing, and many more. So no matter the scale of massacres I create, I can sleep peacefully, because after all, I gave them a chance. Now that my conscience is pure, I can hop on my horse and hit the road singing. That's right, apparently Arthur can sing when free roaming, but he needs perfect conditions for this, like specific weather, full course and certain riding speed. But with the Sing mod, we can do it almost whenever we want. Sure, Arthur still has to ride slowly to be able to sing, but at least he can do it in any weather and health state. Surprisingly, this seemingly small mod completely changed the pace of how I play. Red Dead Redemption by itself is a slow and methodical game, but this mod makes you slow down even more. You just want to ride in the meadow, enjoy folk songs, and feel the American vibe. Wild West, cowboys, and what's a cowboy without his horse? The game has plenty of horses to offer, so do I. The Redemption Horses mod repaints horse coats, bringing a fresh look to these animals. You can see the comparison on your screen. If there are changes that you don't like, but you still find some coats interesting, no need to worry. The mod comes as separate files for each horse, rather than a pack. The downside of which is that it's a bit tedious to download all of that, but at least your Arabian White stays untouched until you decide otherwise. So I need to say a few more sentences to have more time to show you the horses. So, right. I got some jelly beans. You like jelly beans? Are we done yet? Great, let's move on. The game's world, even out of the box, feels alive and immersive. But there's still room for improvement. With the dynamic world mod, we can enable some mission-only events, unlock some interiors and make some locations busier. Changes are not that drastic, but still necessary to complete the picture. While recording this video, the mod received a big update, so actually changes are drastic now. Make sure to check the mod page yourself. Additionally, we can use the Ambient world mod, which makes NPCs interact with the world better and overall increases their population. Now we can find them inside places like stores and others. With these two mods, it feels like the world doesn't revolve around the player. The Ambient Abandoned Wagons mod adds another reason to explore this world. This mod adds broken wagons that are scattered all over the map, leaving it to our imagination how they ended up there and what happened to them. Other than admiring those wagons, there's another reason to look for them. And that's money! That's right, most of the wagons contain boxes of loot that can be sold or donated to your camp. I haven't found them all yet because I don't know where they are or how many of them are out there. And to be honest, I'm too lazy to do it. Money! The last thing that we'll add to the game's world is women. Oh my! Or to be more precise, women outlaws. Some might complain that only boys can be outlaws, but it's okay. No one is encroaching on your cowboy club. I'm just tired of seeing nasty uncivilized men, so I want to diversify the population by adding some nasty uncivilized women. Since it was a rare occasion to see an outlaw woman in real Wild West, the mod comes in two versions, based on the spawn rate. The default is 20%, meaning only 2 out of 10 NPCs are going to be women. Or, as an alternative, we can choose the 5% version. Since there are ladies that we can meet, we need to look appropriately. To stand out among others, MisterFunnyGuy offers his worsted suits mod, so Arthur can finally look like a member of the educated class. This new combination of blazers and pants looks stylish to say the least. And if you enjoy this type of attire, there's another mod from this author. The Suits Boutique mod replaces some of the coats and vests with more elegant options. All suits and vests from these mods are available in the store catalog in the tailor shop. After upgrading our look, it would also be great to upgrade our dwelling. Since our gang is always on the move, we basically have to live on the street. With the ultimate camping overhaul mod, we can transform our campsite into something truly cozy. At first glance, the mod might seem to be just an improvement to a tent. But there's actually a lot to talk about. First of all, let me show you how to set up this mod, because I'm 100% certain that your lazy ass is not going to read all of that. If you're planning to install the mod, you can either leave everything with the default settings, or you can customize the look of items in your camp. If you're willing to customize, then you need to download 2 archives. The first is obviously the mod itself, and the second one is the archive with images. The mod doesn't require them, but we need these images so we know what items we can pick. After dropping the mod files into the games folder, open the file that ends with the INI. It's a configuration file. Before changing any values in this file, please carefully read the comments that the author has left for us. I would suggest leaving everything as it is and only focusing on the first section. Now, we would open the images that we got previously and go through them according to the lines that are in the configuration file. For example, my campfire is set to 9. If I don't like that, I will change it to any campfire that I like. For instance, number 4. That way, I would go through the values all the way to the chest, changing what I don't like and leaving what I like. If you understand at least the portion of that and want a guide on how to install RDR mods, then leave a like and write a comment. After I see the demand, I will make a separate video on this topic. Now, after everything is set up, let's get back to the showcase. To set up our camp, we need camp supplies, which we can buy from any general store. At first you have to place all the objects manually, but after that you can save the layout, which will stay the same every time you set up the camp. Every object in the camp has its purpose. Well, except for these sausages. On the bed, surprise surprise, you can sleep. The campfire can be used as any other campfire in the game, but it also allows you to set up a rack to play a cooking minigame, which is easy to master but extremely hard to learn. In the chest you can store your money and ammunition. There's also a phonograph which can play some banger songs, but I'm not going to play it because they are probably copyrighted anyway. And the last elephant in the room is the biggest garden where we can grow some plants or mushrooms. Although to do so you either need a degree in agriculture or need to read the mod description. The downside of this garden is that you can't put it in your pocket the way you can with the camp. Well, you actually can, but only when the garden is empty, because it resets every time you hide it. But overall, the mod is great and worth trying. After all, your camp is a great place to winter over. You heard it right, the winter is coming, as well as spring and autumn. The Season Manager mod takes the familiar dynamic seasons system and pushes it much further. Instead of seasons changing almost overnight, transitions now feel gradual and natural. You'll notice overlap between seasons. For example, it can still snow in early spring and snowfall can appear in late autumn. Weather and temperature system have also been reworked. On their own, these changes can be hard to spot, but it makes seasons much more believable when looking at the bigger picture. Another great thing about this mod is that it has add-ons for wildlife and vegetation. Summer feels alive with more herds, birds and small animals, all behaving more actively and less skittishly. In contrast, winter becomes harsh and quiet, animal populations drop, prey conserve energy, and predators become more aggressive as they are desperate for food. Vegetation now is also very dependent on the seasons. You can only gather mushrooms during rainy periods in spring and autumn. Berries are only collectible in summer, and only some special flowers can survive and thrive in winter. There are actually many more changes to seasons in terms of weather, wildlife and vegetation, and it's a great mod that brings the seasons to life with a lot more than just snowy in winter and sunny in summer. For those of you who like to explore the map and collect different collectibles, this small but very useful mod will definitely make your life a bit easier. From now on, the mod will show you a specific icon of a collectible whenever you come within range. Of course, the range can be customized, so the collectibles can be detected at a greater or lesser distance, depending on your preferences. However, please don't go too extreme, or you might break the mod. It can show dream catchers, dinosaur bones, and rock carvings. I wish it could also show cigarette cards, but even now the mod is pretty good. And while you explore the world, you can discover some places that you'd want to either to come back to or avoid. So instead of using these boring default markers, we can use the modded ones. With these new markers, it's much easier to distinguish whether you've marked a treasure, some dangerous place, or the spawn location of some plants or animals. To create a marker, simply hold the left Alt key and pick whatever you want. From there, you can see and edit all the markers you've left. For example, you can flag them to know that this marker is more important than others. You can also rename them to your liking. And of course, you can delete them here. But if you prefer to turn off the HUD or you just want to boost the aesthetics, the Guiding Wind mod might turn out a good find. Those of you who played Ghost of Tsushima will recognize this feature, but for the rest of you, I'll explain. Whenever you place a waypoint on the map, you see wind blowing in the direction of your waypoint. Also, by pressing the Reveal HUD button, we can trigger a stronger burst of wind if it's hard to see the direction. That way, it's possible to navigate the world even without a minimap. But even if you play with HUD, the mod will work just fine, so there's no need to worry. There's an area in the game that I'd like to improve. The Tall Trees region, which is a part of the state of West Elizabeth, does not look how a forest should look. With the Dense Tall Trees mod, we can fix that. The mod replaces all those miserable trees with more healthy ones, and also increases their density. Now the place looks a lot better. Although, the mod has its problems. The collisions don't line up with the tree textures, so as a result, we can clip through edges when we run into the tree. It doesn't bother me at all, but in case it's a problem for you, the mod has another version. It just increases the density of the trees, but keeps the vanilla textures. Another thing I'd like to do is remove fog. I understand that without fog an image would appear flat, but this mod doesn't remove all the fog. The mod removes near and medium fog, and it also has different configurations for each type of weather. That way we're not missing the image depth and still have clear visuals. Of course, if you want to leave fog for certain weather, you can do so simply by deleting the appropriate file from the mod. As an addition, or should I say as an alternative, we can enhance image quality by using the VESTIGIA mod, version 2.0 to be precise. In case this name sounds familiar to you, the VESTIGIA mod is a second iteration of a once famous visual mod. It brings changes to lighting, weather and other visual effects. With this mod, the game has a bit calmer look, thanks to the more pastel color tones. During sunny weather, the image is not overly bright or saturated, and also it's darker during bad weather due to the lack of sunlight. The mod also removes fog, like completely. Unfortunately, I haven't figured out yet how to merge VESTIGIA and the previous mod, so there is not much sense in installing these two together. You can still install them both, everything will work just fine, but the difference in image would be just non-existent. Talking about the rest of the mods, they will work together as well. Every mod from this video should be compatible with each other. They either work right away or they have compatibility patches for other mods. If you have any questions or suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. I'll try to answer as many as I can. Also, if you watched till this far, make sure to leave a snake emoji in the comments. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next time.